I wrote and directed all 3 of the movies Maria D'Amata was in. Her short, full career from start to finish.
It was really a frightening film for a young person to see. I'll never forget the opening scenes in the graveyard in the rain. And his color, his use of color, particularly when they're in Monte Carlo on the yacht and she unveils, in a sense, and Evan O'Brien, all the guys just look at her. It's an extraordinary picture.
The world's #1 symbol of desirability. On display all over the world's #1 showroom, with the world's #1 customers wanting to buy. And nobody wrapped her up and took her home.
Oh, she was gorgeous, of course. She was so good looking.
I was on location with that one as well, and that, yeah, but I mean, I think that Ava Gardner was certainly not hard to photograph. I mean, Bogey may have been, but Ava was such a great beauty.
The first time I met her, she was very happy with Frank Sinatra. And the next time I worked with her, she was leaving Frankie, or something had gone wrong, and she was taking Sonoril to sleep. And that made her a bit sleepy. The eyes had to be looked after. So I was lighting her more carefully. And it is a fact. They rely on a cameraman very much.
I think that I am pretty enough, but I would not want to be that kind of star.
Pretty enough. Any woman that can use the moon for a key light.
Key light? What is that?
Oh, that's your own special light when the stage is all lit up. The light that shines only on you.
You took a lot of portraits of actresses, didn't you, over the years?
Well, yes. I had. I used to take them usually in the lunch hour, and I only had time to do a few. Audrey Hepburn was one I did on War and Peace. That's a typical type of lighting, of light, dark. You see, dark, light, dark, light.
What's the name of that again?
Dark. Chiaroscuro. I tried to photograph them as many times as possible to get used to their face and study any kind of flaws and things. Janet Leigh, that was on the Vikings. And then we have Anita Ekberg, who had a lovely face, and that was on War and Peace. They all had different qualities. I mean, Lorraine had the most gorgeous eyes, very expressive eyes. Audrey Hepburn had these very thick eyebrows, which was, she made a fashion out of that, you know, and she made a fashion out of many things. That's Sophia Loren with a big hat. This is when I became like an amateur enthusiast who takes pictures wide as he takes them. He likes to take pictures, you know. And these women were beautiful women. And, you know, like you collect stamps. I collected beautiful women, photographically, of course. Marilyn was always sort of perfectly made up, and she had a face which was virtually perfect. She had a slightly tipped up nose, which was very attractive.
And she specifically asked for you once. What was that?
Well, that was because I was in vogue. It's almost like footballers, you know, getting around. They want a certain footballer to be in a certain position, and they find out that that's the best man, they get them, and so on. And I don't know, and she asked for me, and I was very flattered.
Oh, you have pretty eyebrows.
Love, what a universe of joy and pain lies in that little word.
Larry was, he was supposed to be in that position, but he wanted to look through the camera to see what the shot was.
He was directing, wasn't he?
He was directing. He wanted to see what the shot was, so I took his position. And Marilyn put her arms around me like that. And then later on she wrote, "Jack, I tell you what we'll do." And Arthur Miller, the husband, said, "Oh, no, you don't." So that was that.
What were you going to do?
I don't know. It was a very tough job for him because she was a darling, I think she was a darling girl in many instances, but she had a lot of problems.
Do you reverse?
Just try me.
And she would come on the set very late. It was a tough picture to do.
Between Marilyn and Olivier, who also directed, there were occasional reports of strain.
We had a wonderful makeup man, Whitey, who was with her for years. When she died, there was an urgent call from New York he was in New York at the time, and he had to fly back because it was in the contract he had to make her up when she was dead. And the idea of making up this gorgeous creature when she was dead and putting on the lipstick and the usual thing, it was a tough break. He told me he had to have a couple of stiff drinks before he started.